Salam aleikum, buenos días. Que San lo acutara todito con mucho más Jimenez. Pray you guys are doing great. Blessings, peace and blessings. Another day, another dollar, like always, guys. I'm coming in real quick, like I always say, real quick. And I'm just gonna bring kind of like a question, right? And for some, they might look at this like some type of secret, but throughout these platforms, a lot of people have spoke and know that a lot of the Inkisis or the engangas have a wow in it, and predominantly there has been through, I guess, through the way some old traditions did their things, or even to this day they still do them, is that they talk about the Sarabanda doesn't carry an enfumbe in that particular Nkisi or Caldero or Enganga. It speaks about a treaty. They speak about a treaty that's done. That I have spoken to a couple of Ngangas. They actually know the treaty, and they explained a little bit to me. And they also explain why, from their perspective, does the Nganga have a wow in it and no enfumbe? It has other things, but it doesn't have an enfumbe. Just a wow and other stuff. But there's a controversy, right? Because we have the questions of different brothers, right, and different perspectives of how they see that. Because if it doesn't have an actual enfumbe in there, right, a spirit that was once alive, and you're only dealing with a wow, then you gotta ask yourself, then are you dealing with the spirit of that wow, and do you believe that wows have a spirit? You understand? And if you do believe that a wow has a spirit, that's the only way that I could reason or think that you're capable to use it. Now, another thing is, but it's conflict and contradictions, because some brothers say you cannot. The wows don't have no spirit. The wow, that's just a representation. That's just a animistic idea that by you putting a wow in there, it gives that enfumbe information, understanding. Then just like that dog is smart, it leaps, it jumps, it runs fast, it smells, it has a high scent. They use them to track down, they use them to sniff out people that escape from prisons, from jails, for hunting, drugs, all these type of things dogs are very good for. You'll see the hound dog with the big ears that flap down, and what that does is covers the face, so it gives the hound dog a more area of scent. They could perceive and smell better because the ears come down, and it covers, so they could smell. It's like it magnifies their scent. So in other words, this is how some explain it. And then you have, for what I have heard, I mean, I don't have no experience in that. I'm just going by what for what I heard. I don't know if it's real, if it's fake. I don't know nothing. I'm just putting it out there, right? So they say that they just send the wow out, and the wow is the one who does the work. The wow is the one who searches out the person and does whatever, or they use that in combination with a different spirit that's not in the enganga to seek out and to do. I have heard a couple of different ways that they explain it, and I just put the question out there. If you guys have any understanding of your lineage, does the enfumbe in the enganga use that animistic idea of a wow, or in your rama you just use the wow because you believe that the wow has a spirit and you could speak to it, just like you could speak to a dog and train it and send it to do things and all that. Then you could speak to that spirit and then and say what you want to get done, you know, like hunt out, seek, bite that person, kill, you know, and so forth and so on. You know, it's kind of, there's a small, I want to say small controversy on it. To me, it's a controversy because once things are not clear from different practitioners as far as what does that do, then I already see it like a contradiction, because who's right and who's wrong? You know, who's right and who's wrong? Who has the actual substance and understanding to give you that makes sense to you, and who does not? So, you know, it's a question that I put out there. At the same time, you know, I'm not trying to make no fights or arguments here. I'm just putting out the question for you guys who watch the channel and sometimes stop by. If you guys do know anything on it and you would like to share, leave your comments. Give me 1 second, guys. Because for me, right, for what I understand, for me, I'm not saying for everybody else, for me, the animistic idea of the wow, the spirit takes it on. The spirit is the one who does what the wow, in other words, it's sent for to do. I'm giving the animistic idea of that wow to that spirit, for that spirit to do just like that wow, what the wow is capable of doing. For me, you understand? And the reason why I say this is because, you see, the same way, right? We take, now this is just hypothetical, right? The same way we might take a spider, the same way we might take a scorpion, we might take bichichis, bichos, all types of things. The same way we might use horns of a ram and place it in the enganga or next to it. The same way we might use a horse, a brake frenillo, a trap, an animal trap, anything that you want to use as an animistic idea to give to the informer the information of how you want it to see it. Look at this, how this works, and I want you to do something that kind of represents this type of thing, you know, like a trap. This trap is someone. So, but let's leave those out. Let's put the animals, the insects, you understand, the critters, the snakes, the lizards, the frogs, all these things. Then for my reasoning is, then if the wow is looked at that way, like I could send the wow, just a wow, to do things, then the same way you should look at that. You should be able to talk to that insect or to that reptile or to that caterpillar or to that scorpion and send it out to mess with the person that you want to mess with, you know, with venom, with biting, with discomfort. You know, these are the type of things that I try to think about and reason, because we know we cannot speak to insects. Hold on for a minute. And to reptiles. Sorry about that, guys. Well, let me take that back. We could speak to them. The point is, do they understand us? Do they understand us? You understand? So these are just little reasoning. These are just things that puts me to think and analyze and look at it, because, you know, I try to compare things and see. You know, I'm not saying I'm right. You understand? This is just me, you know, and these are questions that I put out to you guys for you guys to give your understanding, because I look at it this way. You see, if I get, let's say I put let's say I get, let me see, something that's more that you could kind of train. Okay, let's say I get a chimpanzee's remains. Let's say I get a skull from a chimpanzee, right? And I put it in the fundamento. Am I talking to the chimpanzee to do the things for me and act like I act, climb trees, is strong? It just, like gorillas, you know, even monkeys, they're pretty strong too. Chimpanzees are pretty strong. Well, and we know the gorillas are even more. But even the chimpanzees is pretty strong, stronger than your average, you know, person. So, am I talking to the chimpanzees and telling the hey, chimpanzees, you know, I want you to do this. I want you to, you know, stomp on this person. I want you to climb up and look to see and warn me if something is coming, because you could climb high, you know. Does it work this way? Is this what we're doing with a skull or some type of remain of a chimpanzee? Is this it? Or are we using that animistic idea of that chimpanzees for the spirit that's in the enganga to see, oh, okay, just like this monkey or this chimpanzee climbs and looks at things from high, I want you to look and do the same thing and be aware. And, you know, this is what I'm trying to speak about, you know? Like, what is it? The chimpanzees that we could speak to and it does it on its own, or is it the muerto? I'm only putting these things out to see if you guys can help me out. No, yeah. Really? After 15 years. Oh my God. I'm already 21. Y ya pa buscar de nuevo. I know, that's how they want to start over, but he didn't want to change his ways, you know, drinking and verbal. Oh, fuck that. Yeah, nah, fuck that. Yeah, I ain't trying to hear that shit. Like, nah, girl, I got another husband. I don't drink, I don't smoke. Lo mío es trabajar y pa' casa. I wish we was in there with him. The contract got to pay all the bills, pay the car, pay the claro que sí. I got another husband. Exactly. I know. You too, sweetheart. But, you know, these are the type of questions that we have to question sometimes, certain things, right? And certain practices, certain beliefs that certain people have. And I'm not saying that it's wrong. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not at all. Not at all. This is not the route that I'm trying to take. But this is the reasonings that I put behind a lot of these things. You understand? So, you know, at the end of the day, whoever practices the way they practice, hey, you know, do what you do. It works for you. It works for you. You know, I'm not here for controversy and none of that. I just question certain things. You understand? And, you know, and some people have explained to me certain things about that, especially about the wild, that I'm not going to say here. You understand? Because that's not, I'm not going to be giving out stuff that people have shared with me, elders, that, no, I'm not going to put that out here. But I'm just putting it out there to make it a video just for you guys to start questioning and wondering and asking yourselves certain things, you know, because for me, what is the purpose of putting all this bilongo in our Nkisi, which is Nkisi, but at the same time, Nkisi is a word that has many meanings you can use it for. What's the purpose of the bilongo that we put inside these engangas and these prendas? What's the purpose of the animals that we put in there? What's the purpose of the insects, of the reptiles? What's the purpose of the plants, of the incunias? What's the purpose of all this stuff if we really think that the Mfumbe is using that incunia? Well, not the Mfumbe, that you speaking and that incunia, well, actually, you can even say that too. That Mfuma is taking the incunia and actually using the incunia, you know, grinding it down himself in the spiritual realm and doing things with it. Does it really work that way? Really? I don't know. Or is the Fumbe taking that animistic idea of the incunia? What does it do? How does it affect a person by using it? Because let me tell you something. Another thing is this with the incunias, right? Now that I just said that, another thing is this with the incunias, right? A lot of engangas have incunias in it, right? 21. Plenty. There's engangas that got more than 21. There's no set limit for the incunias you want to put in there. And there's no particular part, even though they're going to argue there are these type of incunias that engangas are supposed to have. Because of certain treaties, certain engangas are supposed to hold these type of energies of these incunias and so forth and so on. That's fine. Okay, I could understand that, and I could go with that. But the problem is, incunias dry up. They dry up. So you mean to tell me that those incunias in enganga could be there 15 years and the incunia still has the same properties? It loses. It dries up. It loses its essence, its substance. You understand? But we're going to get those who are truly respected. I don't have no problem. That are going to tell you, no, once it's in there, that's it. You know, it always has its power. It always has its spirituality. It's always. Fine, no problem. To each his own. But for me, those incunias don't last forever. Those incunias, once they reach a certain time, you have to change them. You know, and what is the best way to get incunias? You go out yourself and get them, because in these botanicas, you just find these little incunias, real thin, and I'm not the type that I'm gonna go get incunias that are hard to find here, that you find in Puerto Rico, in Cuba, and other places. You know, if you don't have a good connection where you could get good incunias from, I'm saying good incunias, you know, thick incunias, big incunias, you know, that you need for certain trees or for certain fundamentals, you know, a lot of us can't get that. You understand? The way we want to get them, for we could build them right. So what do a lot of us do? We just go out to the country and cut our own incunias. They might not be the same incunias that some people say, oh, it has to have it. But they're incunias of this land. You understand? Incunias that you cut, you live your derecho, you say your oración, your prayer to it, and all that, and you get it with respect, and you receive the power and the essence that it has, and you use it, and you get yourself some good incunias. Is it wrong? Is it right? Some will say it's wrong. I will say it's neither right, neither wrong. If you feel so inclined that you need a certain type of incunia, that you might as well then buy the 21 little sticks and use that. Listen, I've seen engangas that don't have no incunias. You can't even see them. You don't see them. But are they in there? A lot of them have incunias in there, grinded down. But they've been washed, they've been ceremonized, with ceremony, they've been grinded down, and they've been put certain amounts inside the enganga of certain types. And you might see some on top, caña brava, or some, you know, maybe some on top, a couple. Not all engangas you're gonna see the incunias in them. It doesn't mean it doesn't have it. You understand? So these are all these little things that we gotta look for. And I went to the incunias too, because these are things that also people fight about. No, if you don't got this incunia on there, if you don't got that incunia in there, then you don't got nothing. If you don't got it, you don't got nothing. Well, I understand those are treaties and those are ways that they built the stuff in Cuba. But nowadays, and in the land that we live in, everything that was good in Cuba doesn't mean that it's good here in this land. You understand? The way they built stuff in Cuba was very limited to the compare of the way we build in Kisis now here. We have more. We have more options and more things available that Cuba never had, that we could introduce into our Inquisis these days to make it more oomph, more better, more stronger. You understand? Does it make an Inquisi that was built with limited things less than the old? No, the Enfuma is the Enfuma. The Enfuma is the one that's doing what it has to do. It's gonna work. Is it gonna work in a profound or in a stronger way when one Enfuma has more things, more energy, more substance in it than the other one? That's something that we have to, think about, because there are some engangas out there that got very minimal things and they're beasts. So we can't really go into that, but we could say that at least we could have the availability of natural substances, that we could buy natural things that we could use to make and for our Enfumbas could use in certain aspects and certain things when it has to do with medicine, that it magnifies them and makes them a little more stronger. It gives them what they need than others. We could say that. You understand? But anyway, guys, I don't want to make it too long. You guys leave your opinion. You guys leave your whatever you guys think. Like I said, this is not for controversy. This is not for fighting, for issues, for cussing out. No. At the end of the day, we all have to respect how everybody practices. These are just things that make you go, and you have to think, and you have to reason, and you have to ask, you have to evaluate. Because if not, we're going to stay in the same state, and we're all going to be just robots doing what everybody has taught us and what everybody has told us what to do it, and this is the way it is, without questioning it. And that's the problem. These days, you cannot question because you're told, shut the hell up. Don't ask this. Oh, you're not ready for this right now. Then if I'm not ready for this and I'm not ready for that, then why the hell am I here? Why am I in this Munanso if I really want to grow? Why? You understand? And that's where we get to. Before you get initiated, sit down with that Tata Yaya and tell them exactly what you're looking for. And if they can provide that for you, good. If they cannot provide that for you, then don't get initiated. Simple as that. And then if you're the one that's going to get initiated and you're asking for all these things, and then you're not putting your side, your part, you're not learning, you're not putting time, you're busy all the time, then why you even made that agreement with that elder, with that Tata or Yaya for then? Then don't say it's their fault that you didn't learn nothing. No, you wasn't around either. So it goes both ways, guys. You understand? I pray you guys have a great day, a great weekend. Be safe, be blessed. My email address, w3qyn1973@gmail.com. tatazongo21@yahoo.com. I think that's what it is also. You can reach me there. I'm always available, always open to help anybody out. I don't charge people to speak with them. I give the best that I could give from Curanchila, from the heart. And what I know. What I don't know, I don't know. I'll ask the elder. If he knows, he could tell me. If he doesn't know, he'll find out. And if we can't find it out, then hey, I don't know. We don't know. Doesn't mean there's no answer for it. I don't have it, or my elder doesn't have it, or whoever he asks for don't have it. So that's the only thing we could say is we don't know. Ask somebody else, maybe they might have it. Understand? But we're not gonna sit here and lie and make some story up. Salam alaikum, alaikum salam. Be safe. Peace out.